I'm going to Texas. I'm going to Beaumont, Galveston, and Houston, and I'm going to teach people what they can do to pass election integrity reform at the state level to make sure that we have fair and free elections. And also, I'm teaching people how they can run for office.
It's incredible.
I want people to become school board, city council, mayor, state rep, state senate, and empower them at the local level.
That's absolutely incredible. And everyone says, you know, get involved, but no one's actually teaching them how to do it besides the classes you might take in high school that no one pays attention to. I mean, so what was the inspiration behind this?
The 2020 election. You know, I look at the 2016 and 2020 elections as kind of parallels. When Hillary Clinton lost, she blamed it on Russian collusion, Russian interference, right? But what did the Democrats do? They were actually very smart. In California, they changed the laws legally to allow for ballot harvesting. And because they changed the rules legally, they changed all of Orange County, flipping every seat from red to blue and taking control of the House in 2018. And so I thought to myself, wait, why don't we just do the same thing? And why don't we change the rules legally at the state level and make sure that we're setting Republicans up for victories in 2022 and beyond?
It's crazy. It took a former dog walker turned. What's our new title? I mean, you've earned whatever.
Conservative activist, but no, to mom and dad, if you're watching, yes, your baby boy is a former dog walker turned trash collector and conservative activist.
He's the best trash collector I have ever seen. And I'm actually, like he said, RSBN is going to be joining him over in California.
Yes.
5th. 6th and 7th, sorry, lots of dates to get here. And we're going to be collecting trash with you, so I'm looking forward to that. I think you're doing some type of trash pickup, right?
Yes.
You're doing that in the middle of all of this and educating and informing and rallying. You're also cleaning up cities?
Yes. San Francisco on the 6th of March, be there, RSBN, Scott Pressler. And look, we just want to come in and show Democrat policies are decaying our cities. And look at San Francisco, look at Los Angeles, look at Houston. Every single major democratically controlled city, you're going to find a city where our homeless are not put first. You're going to find a city where our education is in ruins. You're going to find a city where we don't even fix the potholes on the streets. But as a Republican activist, I don't want to just point at the problem. I want to actually come up with a solution and say, hey, let's band together as private citizens and show an act of love by actually helping to clean up the community.
It's really mind-blowing. I'm sitting here listening to you talk, but I'm thinking of the first time I ever saw you or met you. And I think that was the 2017 CPAC, so almost 5 years ago. And at the time, you were leading another organization. I was going to a ball, and you were there. I had no idea who you were. I was new to politics, but you have been nonstop ever since. That's the point I'm trying to get across. I mean, you have really turned this into not just a full-time job, but
lifelong mission.
A mission. You really are helping people and making a huge difference. Actually, I was talking about it with some of my coworkers last night. We were talking about good and bad, and we're like, Scott Pressler is just mind-blowing, amazing. So thank you so much for everything you do. We saw there was a big turnout. I believe it was Illinois.
Yes.
So would you mind telling our audience a little bit about what you did there and what type of support you saw in Illinois about, I think, last week?
Well, your viewers are going to love this. This is some red meat for you at home, because I want to make this clear. If you are an elected official in the Republican Party and you are not America first, my 2 words to you are game on. And we are already organizing in Illinois' 16th district, and we are primarying the disgraced Adam Kinzinger, who voted against our Constitution and who voted to impeach President Trump. And on April 24th, I'm going to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we are also working to drum up opposition to disgraced Liz Cheney, who also voted to impeach President Trump. And we are going to hold our elected officials accountable, both on the D and R side.
It's about time someone holds them accountable. It's crazy that it took you're not even an elected official. Not yet, at least. But I really would not want you coming after me. That is not something I would wish upon my worst enemy. So they should be shaking in their boots right now. And you had a huge turnout in Illinois. I think 105, 150
people.
That's incredible.
During the middle of winter in Chicago with single-digit temperature. And they still showed up.
And that goes to show, I think, the type of support you have behind this entire movement.
Yes.
People are looking for a leader. And right now it's kind of questionable who is going to be the leader of this movement. In my opinion, right now, you are doing a lot more than most people, a lot more than most of the elected officials, which I'm sure you get this question all the time, but would you ever consider running yourself? Or do you think it's more, and not that any one or the other, obviously you're doing more work than an elected official, but do you see a future for yourself running for politics, running for a seat?
I remain open to the possibility of running for office, but right now what I'm going to do is use my platform to help other people win their elections going into 2022. And I'm focused on the Georgia governorship. I'm focused on the Arizona governorship. And again, holding these elected officials accountable. And if we're successful in 2022, who knows, maybe I'll be running for office in 2024.
I hope so. I would move wherever just so you could have my vote. Incredible. So you're at CPAC this week. This is where we are, the Conservative Political Action Conference. It's held annually, generally in Washington, D.C. Thanks to Florida and DeSantis, we are here this year. The state's open, following some mask rules. But besides that, it's been good. And we're going to have tons of people coming in and out. But what does your week look like here? You're speaking, is that correct?
Yes.
I saw some pretty nice graphics being put out with your face on them. So what are you doing here at CPAC, Scott?
Well, I'm going to be visiting Media Row, always coming back, of course, to Right Side Broadcasting.
Every day. We need you every day.
But I will be on a panel on Saturday at 5 p.m. And we're going to be talking about how to deliver your message so that you don't get into a backroom brawl. How do I get people to actually come on board with what I'm trying to sell to them? And I will be talking about election integrity especially. And then I fly straight to Texas. I will be missing President Trump.
I was going to say, so we're trying to get one of our correspondents to Texas to cover your event, and it's impossible because it's...
I'm so sorry.
Your event is the next day. There's like not flights. So that's incredible. I was going to say, you must be on like the quickest,
the early bird on Sunday. So President Trump, I'm so sorry I'll be missing you, but I will be watching from that evening in Beaumont, Texas.
Via Right Side Broadcasting Network. Check us out for the live stream. Well, thank you, Scott. I'll let you continue on your journey down Broadcast Road, but hopefully we'll be able to talk to you every day, see how your day's been going, and you know, you're always more than welcome to take my seat. So wherever you'd like, join us here at RSBN. We look forward to next week as well. So if you are new or old and you want to follow us, again, Right Side Broadcasting Network, we're really excited to kind of start broadcasting Scott Pressler. Instead of him being a talent, he's going to be the main show. So we're going to be showing these events, and hopefully for those who can't get out in person to these events, you can sit at home and learn how to get involved locally within your own state. So really excited. You got to come to Georgia sometime so I can learn, because I don't know how to do it either.
I will.
I mean, it's really important information.
To our voters at home that are watching from Georgia right now, I'm going to give you an action item you can do tomorrow morning first thing. So, did you know that the Georgia State Senate passed legislation that would require voter ID for absentee voting? It passed the Senate, which means that you at home need to call your members in the Georgia State House so it passes. So tomorrow morning, it's Friday, it's a work day, I want you to call your state representative that represents you in Georgia and ask them to vote in favor of HB 227. That's the legislation in the House that would be concurrent with the Senate. That would give us voter ID for absentee mail-in voting. It's
incredible. You always have a plan of action. It's not just talk about it.
It's not just hair. We do work.
I'm staring at you here. It's better than mine. All right. Thank you, Scott, for being here. We're going to go to a quick commercial break to say a word from the one and only Mike Lindell with Mypillow. So we're going to roll that here right now, and we'll be back with the one and only Zoe. She'll be joining us soon. Stay tuned.
Hello, Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of Mypillow, and I've got some great news for you. Today, you can save up to 66% off all my products from my pillows to my Giza Dream Sheets, my towels, my Roll and Go travel pillows, my mattress topper. I have over 100 products that you're going to save up to 66% using the promo code RSBN, Right Side Broadcast Network. RSBN, use that promo code at mypillow.com or call 800-836-7566. That's 800-836-7566. Remember to use the code RSBN, and here's the great news. Half the money is going to support Right Side Broadcast Network, one of the best networks I've ever seen. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for staying with us. I am Zoe Sozo, joined here by Adrian, and we are here in Orlando, Florida for the CPAC conference. Actually my first time attending, so I'm excited for the next couple of days to hear from the amazing speakers that are lined up, like Matt Gaetz, and of course Donald Trump is going to be our 45th president. Donald Trump will be speaking on Sunday. We will also be interviewing a few of these speakers tomorrow, Friday through Sunday, so you guys get to sit down with us and hear a little bit about their stories and their involvement in the conservative movement. Adrian, anyone specifically are you excited to hear from that is on the agenda?
Absolutely. I think I stand with everyone with our very favorite speaker is going to be Donald Trump, and you know, it's been a while since he's come out and spoken publicly. He's been a bit in the shadows, so I'm very excited to see him. The last time I saw him speak was a couple weeks or multiple weeks ago in December or January, so obviously I'm super excited to see him. I miss him from our rallies and our coverage with RSBN. And I think it'll be a very exciting event. It's certainly going to be historic, and I wonder what he has in store for us. Zoe, who are you most anxious to see here?
Well, me personally, probably Jack Brewer. Jack Brewer, he's a former NFL player. He was a former Obama supporter, but he's turned around in the game, and I just come to realize a lot of the false, lies that have been on the left, and his involvement in the conservative movement on a community level is really inspiring, and I'm just excited to hear his story a little more in depth, and then get to be able to sit down with him and hear his story as well with our viewers. But of course, Ron DeSantis, he is going to be Governor Ron DeSantis will be speaking as well. Since Florida is now officially open, I'm sure a lot of the attendees are probably Floridians themselves, so they will be excited to hear what he has to say as well. So we have a whole list of amazing speakers that will be on the agenda coming up. We will be sitting down personally with Louis Reed. Louis Reed is another great influential person as far as his involvement on a community level. And then we have Morgan Stegers. Morgan Stegers, she will, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, she will be speaking as well. And Adrian will be sitting down with her and getting to know about her. She's new and upcoming Turning Point ambassador, and she has a lot to say and a lot of wisdom, especially for her age. So anything else on her specifically?
Right, so I had the privilege of meeting Morgan Stegers at SAS a couple weeks ago in December, and she founded Young Americans Against Socialism, I think about a year or two ago, and she's been extraordinarily successful with that organization, just dedicated to educating everyone, but especially the youth, about the dangers of socialism, particularly because so many individuals in this generation are so supportive of socialist policies, despite not quite knowing the detriment they bring to societies and countries, especially like Venezuela. So tomorrow we're just going to interview her and see what she has to say about her movement. I'm going to ask her about how she got involved in the conservative movement and what really inspired her to start this organization, specifically targeting education for students against socialism. And I think we also have a couple interviews with, let's see, we said Brett first?
Brett Ford,
Right.
possibly. Of course, with trying to get a little organized with all the speakers, they are busy and everything, but I appreciate the ones that are able to sit down with us. But going back to what you were saying about Morgan Stegers, about her starting her foundation, and how it's important for us as young individuals in this culture now to get involved on community level, I keep saying that, community level, but also having the experience with hearing from all of these other influential speakers and politicians who are basically the picture for what we should be, you know. I think it's really important for us to be more involved, like I said, and for us to just, you know, take it seriously, because once the left comes in and decides to take away your rights, it's really hard to try to get back, but you have to stand firm and you have to fight all the way through, and you cannot allow them to shut you up and keep you in the back, because this is America, and this is what we should continue doing, and that's fighting. So I'm excited for this weekend for sure, and I think it was a little bit of a surprise again about the announcement with our 45th President, Donald Trump, speaking, and again, a few appearances. I think he was on Newsmax, I think, addressing, rest in peace, Rush Limbaugh's recent passing, but public appearance, yes, we are excited to see him once more undefeated, and this man is by far, he has changed the movement, and he's really brought a lot of things that were in the dark to light, and awaken a lot of us, you know, in this society and this culture. So I'm excited, really am. So anything else to add, Adrienne?
Right. I'm so glad that you mentioned Rush Limbaugh. He was genuinely my very first political inspiration. My father would always have him on the radio when he would drive me to my soccer games on the weekends. So I started listening to this legend, this radio icon, starting at about 8 years old, and he was my very first introduction into politics, into conservative values, and I learned from this man at a young age. He was practically my mentor, and so hearing of his passing was extremely sad, but we know that he touched millions and millions of lives, and he inspired so many people to never back down for American values, never back down for freedom, and to never kneel to the mob. We know this man, when he was suffering with his cancer, so many people were criticizing him, threatening him, and he was at his lowest, and he never gave up, and that's exactly what he showed millions of Americans and millions of people all over the world. That's what they need to do, and we can't back down in this fight or we'll never win.
Exactly, and it's kind of sad right now to see how the left, they are so adamant with being disrespectful, especially at this time with this influential man, someone who was a positive influence for us, who brought us through brought us to light on a lot of these issues, and they are so quick to just, you know, say things that really are just disgraceful. But of course, that is the left for you, and as we know, you know, I mean, there's no going back with them, and I'm really grateful for people like him, and again, we're going to hear from many more. So for CPAC, is this your first time? First time attending this conference?
It is my very first time. I really love the general atmosphere so far. It's not as hectic as I thought it'd be, but we are a little bit early, so that might be it. But I love it so far. I love the little booths, each station for the different networks. I think our station, I'm not sure if you can see it all, but it's super aesthetic, super cute.
Liz did a great job. Shout out to Liz.
Be an interior designer. So far, I love it. I love Orlando. I was in Miami not too long ago, and I'm especially appreciative of Governor DeSantis and all he's done to get people back to work and doing his best to protect citizens' freedoms, because we've seen different policies being implemented and their efficacy is very questionable. So Florida is amazing. I've always had a great time here, and CPAC so far has been a blast. I love the team. We're working extremely well together, and I'm excited for the rest of the week. I'm excited for the interviews. I'm excited for the people that are interacting with us. We've seen so many fans come up to our table and grab pictures. They're so friendly. I'm super excited. I think it's going to be a great week.
I agree. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Again, I've taking a break, and back on the road with the team, and I'm really excited to be back. Joined by Brian, Philip, and Mike. Many of you guys are fans of, so you will be hearing more from them this weekend. Of course, if you guys have any questions or specifically any questions for some of the speakers, like I said, we will be sitting down in an interview with. Please, in the super chat, let us know what you would like to hear from them specifically, and we will do our best to ask some of the questions that you might have in mind. Any questions for us? Adrienne, is there a specific link where people can follow you as well? Because we will be catching behind the scenes what's going on here for many of you who could not be here. And for some of you who can be here, please come up to the booth and meet us, and please come chat. We would love to do so. We will be interviewing, like I said, a lot of the speakers, a lot of the attendees, just to get in a lot of you all's heads to see where you are right now. But anywhere specifically people can follow you.
So currently I'm only on Instagram. I know I have to get on Twitter soon. But yeah, you can find me at Adrienne Ferguson _, at Instagram. So that's just Adrienne Ferguson _. And if you don't know how to spell my name, it's just ADRIENNEFERGUSON _. A lot of people have trouble spelling it, so thought I'd just put it out there. But how about you, Zoe? Where can people reach you?
Yes, so I am on, of course, Instagram and Facebook by Zoe, ZOE, and that's Sozo, SOZO. Last name is Bethel, B as in boy, ETHEL. Some people thought that my last name was Sozo, but I like to go by that. But yes, you all can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Like I said, we will be giving you all a lot of behind the scenes here at the conference at CPAC. Beautiful facility here at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando, Florida. Amazing facility. And of course, we have a few thousand, we'll get the exact number, that will be in attendance. This is actually the first time that CPAC will not be in DC. They are here, I believe, in Orlando, Florida. So we are excited. No greater place to be other than the sunshiny state of Florida and not in the swamp. But I'm really, like I said, blessed to be here with the crew and with many others. So again, if you all would like to, of course, you know where you can support us. You can go to rsbnetwork.com and go to on the side top link to the right, you can select donate, and that is one way that you can support us. We don't do many other rallies anymore. Hopefully our 45th president, Donald Trump, will be coming up here maybe soon with some exciting projects. I don't know what he might have in mind, but of course we will be here, number one source, to bring that to you all live and I would say uninterrupted, but again, you all can support us by going to rsbnetwork.com and select donate. We appreciate all of the support that you all have given us all the way through to now. And I mean, we could not do it without you all. Again, I am very excited to be here back with the team, with Adrienne, Liz, Philip, and everybody. And I'm just excited for the rest of the week. So anything else you would like to add other than that?
No, I couldn't say it any better myself. I'd just like to reiterate our gratitude for all of our viewers and your donations. You really help us get where we need to go and provide this amazing coverage for you folks. Without you guys, we wouldn't be at any of these events. We wouldn't be able to provide any coverage. So thank you so much for all that you do for us. And yeah, I love how Zoe was just mentioning all the facilities here at the Hyatt. It's extremely nice. We were at the pool earlier today, and the sun was perfect, and the weather was perfect. We got a little bit tan before we came out here, so it was,
yeah, I think I'm a little too far gone for that, but that's okay.
Oh, it's gorgeous here, and I don't know how much you care about. I think I might actually move to Florida. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. I'm based there currently, and when I'm not traveling, I'm trying to figure out where I should finally.
You want to stay in a red state, first of all. You know that.
Absolutely, and you know, with all that Governor DeSantis has been implementing here and trying to help the people get back on their feet, I see no reason why I shouldn't move here. I was considering DC, but I can't with the swamp over there, so maybe Florida's for me.
Yeah, well, just to add to that, I've always been trying to get out of Alabama, but I've had the opportunity to travel around and just have a taste of what it's like to be a big city girl. But I think Alabama is definitely home for me. Florida, I call it my second home because that's where half of my family's from, right there in Miami, Florida. But of course, like with the conservative values and considering raising a family, marriage, and all these things, you're wanting to raise your family in a place that's going to align with your values, because you're running to the issues, of course, in California, how it's gone straight to communism, basically. And I mean, you're having a lot of people moving here down south, you know, trying to escape this. So again, we want to thank you guys. We're going to wrap up here in a bit. We're going to be joined by Philip and Mike, and they will be talking about current events and the plan for the rest of the weekend. Again, thank you guys so much for sitting down with Adrienne and I, and of course, we appreciate your support and everything. So.
Hello, Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of Mypillow, and I've got some great news for you. Today, you can save up to 66% off all my products, from my Mypillows to my Giza Dream Sheets, my towels, my Roll and Go travel pillows, my mattress topper. I have over 100 products that you're going to save up to 66% using the promo code RSBN, Right Side Broadcast Network. RSBN, use that promo code at mypillow.com or call 800-836-7566. That's 800-836-7566. Remember to use the code RSBN, and here's the great news. Half the money is going to support Right Side Broadcast Network, one of the best networks I've ever seen. Thank you.
And thank you again for tuning in with us today on Right Side Broadcasting. We are in sunny Orlando, Florida for the first of 4 days of the Conservative Political Action Conference, better known as CPAC. Now, this is my first time here as well as Philip, so we're happy that you're here with us today. We cannot thank you enough for supporting us in this time when there's a lot of censorship and a lot of cancel culture going on. And I want to take this time to tell you guys about our partner, Mike Lindell with Mypillow. Philip, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. You've seen recently in the news, Mike Lindell has been under extreme pressure from the woke mob who wants to cancel him because of his efforts to be a patriot in this country. So we cannot thank Mike enough for his partnership to help keep RSBN on the road. In some ways that you can help RSBN stay on the road and also help support Mike Lindell, who's a great patriot. He's been fighting for this country. Is you can go ahead and go to mypillow.com, and when you get there, use promo code RSBN for Right Side Broadcasting Network. That's RSBN. You get up to 66% off your order. And from what I understand in my conversations with Mike Lindell, this is some of the biggest savings that he's ever given out on his website. So we have to really thank Mike for that. We need to support patriots in this time. There are very few people who are out here holding the line for the conservative message, for the America First message, for the Make America Great Again message. So you can be sure to do so. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code RSBN for up to 66% off your order. I know I certainly enjoy a good night's sleep. You do too, Mike. Go get some pillows. That's not all they have. They have blankets, dog beds, sheets, you name it. You're not going to regret it.
Yeah, and also we need to note that they're going after Mike Lindell, going back to the cancel culture. You know, you've got Bed Bath & Beyond and other retailers that have been pressured to remove his products from store shelves, but luckily he has his website, so you can go straight to him, straight to his website to get the products.
Right.
And a portion of the sales will actually go towards keeping us afloat and helping us out as a network. If you buy the original Mypillow, which is normally $69.98, you'll get it for $29.98. So go to mypillow.com and use RSBN as the promo code at checkout.
Yeah.
So Philip, this is both of our first times here at CPAC, and naturally when it's my first time somewhere, I try to just, you know, observe as much as possible and just kind of get a feel for everything. And the vibe that I'm getting here is there's a lot of energy for sure. People are excited, but there's a lot of anticipation on what to expect after everything that we just went through as a country in 2020. And then to wrap up 2020, the election, it obviously didn't turn out the way that any of us wanted. But now it's like, where do we go from here? This feels like almost an official turning of the page to where we go next. So what are you expecting from CPAC this year?
Well, I'm expecting the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, to come here and make a powerful speech on Sunday afternoon. I really think that is going to be the capstone of this entire event. As he makes remarks, this will really be one of the first, if not the first, public appearance of the 45th President of the United States since January 20th. Of course, Mike, you and I, we were down in West Palm Beach on President's Day. The President drove by, but he hasn't made any remarks publicly in speeches or anything like that. So this is going to be huge. This is going to be massive. This is going to be historic, what happens here on Sunday. And of course, stay tuned on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you full coverage of that event. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned to Right Side Broadcasting, because I don't think I can state how historic Sunday is going to be. What do you think? What are you expecting from the 45th President to say?
Yeah, you know, there's so much going on right now that it's hard to imagine like what's all going through his head. I mean, we're now a full month into the Biden presidency, so we've gotten to see the direction that he's taking our country in. It's a very dark direction, put people out of work. He's spouts out several lies about, the Operation Warp Speed and several different things, along with where we are as a conservative movement. There seems to be a very rigid divide forming. Liz Cheney, who obviously voted to impeach President Trump and also said that he shouldn't be allowed to speak at CPAC, is driving a wedge between the party. I mean, you basically have the old guard, the Mitch McConnells, the Mitt Romneys, and Liz Cheney, and then you've got newer conservatives like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz. Right. You've got America First and freedom-minded governors like Kristi Noem and Ron DeSantis, who will both be speaking. And then wrapping it up with the 45th president, I just have to imagine that he's gonna get the crowd fired up. He's gonna get everybody motivated to continue fighting for freedom and liberty and ultimately saving our republic.
I think you're 100% right about that. I think when the 45th president comes here and he speaks, it will be like nothing we have ever seen before. I think the energy in the room is just going to be through the roof. I can't even state how great the energy is. Right now, there's energy building. For those of you who couldn't join us, that's why we're here right now, to make sure that you can see what's happening. We got a crowd cam showing Broadcast Row here. There is energy building. People are ready. People are excited. We are not. You only lose when you quit, Mike. And we don't think of ourselves as losers. We think of ourselves as people who are determined to continue to fight for the Make America Great Again movement, for the America First movement. We're not quitting. We're not giving up. This is not the old days of Bush politics. Okay, this is not the Republican Party of Dick Cheney, George Bush, Mitt Romney, John McCain. This is the party of Donald Trump. We are figuratively speaking fighters. We don't condone violence, but we are willing to hold the line for our beliefs. And that there was a culture shift when Donald Trump came down that golden escalator in 2015, and he said, I'm going to officially declare that I'm running for president of the United States. Not only did Donald Trump declare that he was running for president of the United States, but he declared that he was going to forever change the Republican Party as we know it. And that is some of the most exciting things that has happened in our party in a long time, in a very long time. And that's what this year is going to be all about here at CPAC, the future of the Republican Party. And for those of you who think that we're going back to the old days of Liz Cheney, John McCain, and Mitt Romney, you're very mistaken. This is a new Republican Party, and this is the Republican Party of Donald J. Trump.
Well said, Philip. And I really think that, at least I hope, that when Trump speaks on Sunday, he announces some rally stops, that he's going to get out there and rally and support the primary opponents of people like Liz Cheney, of people like Mitt Romney. They're they've been in politics for a long time. It's their career, and it shows when they go to Congress and all they do is mislabel this movement.
Right.
See, the problem is right now is everyone wants to control the narrative of MAGA. You've got the mainstream media. They've called this insurrectionists, white supremacists, and people that don't share American values. But in reality, it's a bunch of people from all walks of life, different backgrounds, who have all come together under this president. He brings people together in ways that we've never seen before.
Right.
It's a very special time in our country. Even though the election didn't turn out the way that we wanted, we are still in a very unique spot where we can grab hold of our destiny. We can take control of our future as a country. And I think that Trump embodies that. He really does. Yes. And he knows how to, energize people. There's no shortage of enthusiasm for this man. When we were down in West Palm, I mean, that event came together in less than 7 days, and we had thousands of people show up. He drove by. We carried it live on Right Side Broadcasting.
Right.
And it's these kind of organic grassroots events and these kinds of pop-up meetings that just really show that American spirit, that patriotic resurgence is alive and well in this country. And we're just going to continue the fight forward with President Trump at the helm. I mean, he is MAGA. He is the future of the Republican Party, like you said. And what people like Liz Cheney and Mitt Romney don't understand, as they say, we should basically move on. Like, we need to move on. We need a Republican Party that is not centered around white supremacy. That gets thrown around a lot. They use that word so much. It's like ketchup. They just put it on everything, to the point where it's lost its meaning. And also, it's an inaccurate description of the people who are in MAGA. And what she doesn't realize is there is no future of the Republican Party without this movement. If you're not America first, you will not be reelected. It's just that simple.
Well, here's a very simple message to Liz Cheney, to Mitt Romney, on behalf of 75 million Americans who voted for President Donald J. Trump. You need to move on, okay? Your dad's not vice president anymore. There's people running against you, Liz, and you likely won't win your primary. Mitt, you lost the presidency in 2012 to Barack Obama, who's arguably one of the worst presidents that this country has ever seen. You need to move on. You lost, okay? And you're just sour that Donald Trump won in 2016 against Hillary Clinton, and he was able to achieve things that you were never able to achieve. And to the second point, what you said, Mike, people like to label this movement as a violent movement. But when you and I were in West Palm Beach, there was not a lick of violence the entire time. What it was American flags. It was people who loved their country, people who wanted to celebrate their favorite presidents. A lot of them love Trump, obviously being their favorite president, but it is not a violent movement. Mike, you and I were there. There was not any violence. It was a movement of peace and love and support for country and support for their president, the 45th president of the United States. So the mainstream media is lying, and we know that. You can't listen to the mainstream media. Stay tuned to things like Right Side Broadcasting Network, all these other alternative platforms, because we are not lying to you. That's why we are here. We are here to show the truth, because I'm sure some mainstream media hothead's going to come along and say, oh, well, this person said this at CPAC, and they're going to twist their words, maybe about what Matt Gaetz said or what Governor Ron DeSantis said. But here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, Mike, I know we're going to say the truth. We're going to show the entire clip of what these speakers are saying, and they're speaking the truth. They're speaking America first. They're speaking Make America Great Again, and that's why we are here.
Absolutely. And I want to go back to Liz for a second. Liz Cheney. Sorry. When we say Liz, we got to specify. We're talking about Liz Cheney. Liz is over there like, what? No, Liz Cheney. I find it hilarious that she can stand up there and just be so phony, like the phony moral grandstanding about what happened on the 6th and how she's so. Here's the thing with a lot of these rhino Republicans that don't have a backbone. They're very spineless. They want to like kowtow to the left. The left is out of control right now, and it just appears that a lot of these rhinos just want to be adjacent to the left. She wants to seek acceptance from the left. Like, oh, if I just condemn the MAGA movement and call them white supremacists, then maybe the Democrats won't trample over me. I find it, first of all, it's funny because for her father with his warmongering tactics and, bombing people in the Middle East and just the old guard way of doing things in Washington, D.C. I think that's funny. But then also, it doesn't matter if you try to kowtow to the left, if you try to be adjacent to the left, you will be a casualty. They don't care if you are in the center. They don't care if you are on the far right. They don't care where you are. If you do not toe the line of their ideology, which is anti-American, you will be a casualty. And that's why it's important to fight right now and continue speaking that truth to power.
Well, here's my theory about Liz Cheney. Perhaps she wants to condemn the MAGA movement and the America First movement because at this point she knows that she's going to have a primary competitor and she's not going to do so well because she served the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. before she served the people in her home district in Wyoming. And I guess at this point it's easier for Liz to try and go get a job as a correspondent or a host at CNN than it would actually be to win her primary. So if she can condemn the MAGA movement as much as she wants, she's hoping, well, maybe CNN will come along and offer me a job because I decided to be the resistance within the MAGA movement. That doesn't make you anything other than a sellout. It doesn't make you cool because you have a multi-million-dollar media contract and you lost your congressional seat. It makes you a sellout, and nobody has more respect for you because you got a job working for CNN. In fact, most people would probably have less.
Yes. Now, let's talk a little bit about where we are right now. We're in the great state of Florida, and there's a reason why CPAC is being held in Florida this year. It's because Florida has a governor that believes in freedom, and we are an open state. There's a lot of prosperity here. We've weathered this pandemic quite well. And despite all that, despite the way that Ron DeSantis has handled this pandemic appropriately, keeping our economy open, letting kids go back to school, letting people operate their business, he is the spotlight of the media. Right. They're treating him like Lucifer, like hashtag Death Santis is always trending on Twitter, at least in my timeline. I think that's Twitter's algorithms trying to feed me stuff to make me angry. But they're focused on how terrible he's doing. Meanwhile, they're completely glossing over the fact that Governor Cuomo in New York, his actions led to the death of thousands of senior citizens, completely mismanaged the pandemic. The double standards and the hypocrisy are just mind-numbing, Philip.
Yep, there certainly is a lot of double standards, and there's a lot of information going around in the mainstream media. And feel free to check all this information for yourself. We're just simply providing you with a factual perspective on some of these things, and we're just telling you how it is. But we're certainly not claiming anything in regards to the pandemic. Just want to put that out there.
Sure.
We're just talking about how governors have handled this issue, and what we can confirm is that Ron DeSantis has opened the state of Florida for a good portion of the state. There's a few liberal counties which are controlled by mayors and county commissioners who decide to keep their counties closed. But Ron DeSantis overall has opened the state, and that is why CPAC is being held here this year.
Absolutely. So people are starting to fill in here. We've got a good little crowd. Here. People are stopping and taking pictures, and they seem pretty energized here. I'm excited to interview some people. There's a great list of speakers that are here. I mean, Ron DeSantis will speak. Kristi Noem will speak also. Who are you most excited, besides Trump, to hear from?
Well, I'm a big fan of Representative Matt Gaetz. I like him a lot. I think his brash style of politics is exactly what this country needs right now. That's what the halls of Congress need. But not only is Matt great at being brash, but also when it comes down to speaking to the people and being a populist, he really understands the concerns of the people within his district. The Florida's 1st Congressional District has the largest amount of retired or veterans actually in the entire state by population. So he certainly represents American values and American heroes who fought for this country, and that's why Representative Matt Gaetz is such a great one, because he understands the concerns of everyday people. Matt, of course, gave a speech in Wyoming, which was covered by Brian Glenn, our own Brian Glenn, and he talked about prairie populism, and I think Matt does a fantastic job. He nails it. the nail on the head every time on that one. And he is a true populist, but he also fights for the America First movement, for the Make America Great Again movement. So I am most excited to hear from Representative Matt Gaetz, Governor Ron DeSantis, Governor Kristi Noem, 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. There's just such an amazing lineup here, and I don't even think we could begin to talk about all the speakers, because there's going to be so many every day from basically 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Mike. We couldn't cover possibly every single speaker who's going to be talking here, but there's going to be so many good ones. So stay tuned here to Right Side Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you full coverage.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you, Mike? Who are you excited to hear from?
I think I'm biased. I think we're both biased because we're here in Florida, but I am excited to hear from our Governor Ron DeSantis, because I think he's just done such an excellent job running the state. He has been just a fearless leader in a time where he's just under immense amount of pressure and scrutiny and always just under attack. It's like there are definitely things to criticize him for,
Right.
But the way that they're going about it is unfair, and I just feel like he's so poised. He really handles himself well. He's somebody who he got a shot in the arm from Trump during his campaign when he was behind in the polls, and Andrew Gillum was actually surging, and Trump came down and campaigned for him, and next thing you know, he shot through the roof, and he's become America's favorite governor. I mean, we've had a lot of people move here, and we've got a lot of momentum going into his reelection. He has a lot of signature wins in this state, a lot of things that he's done well, a lot of bipartisan things that he's done well, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Speaking to what you're saying about Trump's little shot in the arm for Governor Ron DeSantis that boosted him through the polls, I have a little inside story that I'm not sure many people have heard right now that I'm going to share with you while we're here in Orlando, Florida, because honestly, Governor Ron DeSantis is one of the best, one of the greatest ever. I'm not going to mention names, but there was a congressman who served in Congress with Ron DeSantis when he was a congressman representing the state of Florida in the halls of Congress in Washington, D.C. before he was the governor. And this congressman who Governor Ron DeSantis was friends with also happened to have President Trump's ear at the time. And there was a guy named Adam Putnam who was leading in the polls to be the next Republican nominee for governor of the state of Florida. And this congressman who was friends with Ron reached out to the president and said, hey, we really think that Ron would be great for the state of Florida, and he's certainly a candidate worth looking at. So I think President Donald Trump kind of took a second look at it, and he hadn't endorsed anyone at the time, and then he said, well, it appears that Ron DeSantis is my guy. And I don't think the president regrets one bit in endorsing Governor Ron DeSantis, because he truly has been a fighter for the America First movement. He put Florida first, seniors and all that through very trying times here in this state. And obviously, as you know, if you watch any Trump rally held in the state of Florida, President Trump used to brag, oh, well, I endorsed Ron and he wasn't doing so well, and then all of a sudden his poll numbers shot through the roof. Well, that was because a few calls were made, and obviously Governor Ron DeSantis was the right fit for the state of Florida, and I do not think President Trump regrets endorsing him one bit at this point. Absolutely, and there's been talks of Ron DeSantis potentially running for president in 2024, though there's been no announcement, of course, right. And personally, I hope he runs for governor again. But also Kristi Noem, who's another governor who is liberty-minded in South Dakota. Another great governor that has been rumored to be running for president in 2024. So it'd be exciting to see even the combination of those two in the future. Maybe beyond that, we'll see what happens. But Kristi Noem is another governor that I'm excited to hear from, because Kristi Noem has been very good with dealing with the media, a lot of pressure, a lot of calling out hypocrisy, but then also being on the side of facts as it relates to what we're dealing with as a country. Keeping her state open is very, I think, helps her chances to get reelected. So I'm excited to hear what she has to say as well. Of course, she wants to help her economy. She wants to help the citizens of her state, because ultimately that's who she is there to serve. So I think she's done a fantastic job of doing so. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has most certainly done so as well. Put his state first. He kind of took the President Trump, 45th President of the United States, President Trump model of America First, shrunk it down, took it to their state and said, okay, this is how we're going to manage our states. Because while they may not be running the country, they most certainly are overseeing the lives of a lot of people and the economy of a lot of people, and they are perhaps took a play out of the President Trump playbook.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible how he is really reshaped, rebranded the conservative movement in the country, and it's brought in a lot of youth. I mean, a lot of people like myself, I would have never paid attention to politics at all if he were not elected. And once he was elected president, I started paying attention. I started seeing what was going on. It was very obvious that the media was being fake. I think that was probably the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway for me from the Trump presidency was his exposure of the media and just how fraudulent they are and how dangerous their lies are when they can't give simple wins and like credit, you know, they can't acknowledge some of the wins that the president had,
right.
Like things that were very good. I thought that his diplomacy overseas was very good. The foreign policy in the Middle East, like peace treaties, things like that, that are good for the world. It's not even just about America. They're good for the world.
Right.
Everybody should get on the same page and celebrate that. And now, pivoting back to Biden, now you see that we're turning in a different direction now, and it's gonna. We'll see how it plays out, but it's not looking very good at the moment as far as our country. But I'm optimistic that we can turn the ship around and pull through.
Well, Mike, like you were saying about young people who wanted to vote for Donald Trump in 2015, I was young. I was a young boy. I was 13 years old, and I went to my first Trump rally ever. And I was 13, a little 13-year-old me walking around holding my Trump sign. He caught my eye. And from the day that he came down the golden escalator, I said, that's my guy. That's the guy I want to be my president. So he certainly did capture the youth. He captured a new movement here within this country. But in the meantime, Mike and I are about to just finish wrapping up here before we hand it off to our next set of hosts who are going to be discussing with you. But just remember that Right Side Broadcasting Network is viewer funded, and we're also supported through great patriots like Mike Lindell. Many of you know him not only for his political activism, but for his company, Mypillow.com. You can use promo code RSBN, as in Right Side Broadcasting Network, and receive up to 66% off your entire order. They don't only have pillows, they have mattress toppers and blankets and bed sheets and everything you can possibly imagine. Mike, go get yourself a pillow, whatever you want. This is some of the greatest sales you'll ever see. So go ahead and go to mypillow.com and use promo code RSBN.
They're Jamaicans, they're Americans, they're people from all over the world. To be honest with you, everybody supports this president. Everybody supports American ideals of liberty, truth, freedom. We can't thank you enough for supporting us at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are almost entirely viewer supported. This isn't just our network, it's your network. This is a network for the people. This is a network that's about truth, delivering the truth, showing what's actually happening in the world from the perspective of the average person. We don't take money from big corporations. We don't take money from billionaires and big donors. We are all about the people. We're an independent media corporation. Your donation.
So welcome back. And of course, you know, we can't do it without our good friend Mike Lindell. So definitely go check out that website, mypillow.com. Great guest. And my next guest, well, she is no stranger to cancel culture. Melissa Woodford joining me now. And of course, let's tell everyone your story, because the theme of this whole conference here is basically uncancel America. And we've seen cancel culture go rampant across our society, not only in politics, but in the corporate America. And of course, Mike Lindell is going through his own type of cancel culture. But Melissa, let's tell our viewers exactly why you're here. And you came up to me earlier and said, look, I got an amazing story. You know, I was canceled. So let's go ahead and share that with our viewers.
Yeah, so first off, thank you so much, Brian, for having me on. I think it's so important what Right Side Broadcasting is doing. I was a journalism student at the University of Central Florida, and what happened was my professor, knowing that I was an outspoken conservative, looked at all of us in the class and said, I want everyone to show initiative except for her.
Except for her, because they knew you were conservative.
That's
Is that
right.
Okay, so how did you deal with that? For one thing, being singled out in front of your entire class. Like, how did you handle that?
Sure. So walking it back a little bit, the first day of class, we talked a little bit about the New York abortion law, which was recently passed it was back in 2019, and they said that we were going to ban abortion all the way, or we wanted abortion to be legal, all the way up to the late term abortions. And so all of my classmates were saying that they loved this bill, and I thought maybe I'll just say something against the flow. And I said,
and you did.
And I did. And when I did, it was not anything major, but he told me after class, Melissa, I want you to come up to my office. I want to see you. And so he said, can I speak with you? Is there anything personal going on in your life that I could address with you? So it was a chilling effect. From that point on, it set the tone for the rest of the class. Later on, I want to cover a story about a bus that was going to deliver sonograms and ultrasounds to women who were considering getting an abortion, also offering them free pregnancy tests. And when I pitched this story, he said, you can only cover it from a leftist perspective. So I wasn't allowed to.
And that is coming from academia, and that's something we've seen in our society. You're better off just taking your money for college and just throwing it out the window, because if you invest in some of these colleges, they come home with this leftist ideology that they hate America. So
the only thing I learned at college was how to deal with my crazy liberal professors and how to find parking.
There you go. Okay, so that is a cancel culture in college, but let's move on to, you worked for a large media outlet. Yes. We won't really say who it is at this point, but you got even canceled there. Let's talk about that.
The environment there was not quite as bad as the college campus, but I was trying to pitch stories about President Donald Trump at the time, and they did not want me to cover stories about him because they knew where I sort of came from politically. They didn't want me to pitch any stories that involved politics at all, so they reduced my beat to just simple stories about flooding or local traffic incidences. And it's a culture where I felt like I couldn't talk about beats that I was passionate about, simply because it's this cancel culture and they don't want conservatives excelling.
I think if people at home only knew exactly who controls, even on the local level, to your news. I mean, you've got these producers that have not really, and I hate to blanket say this, but they haven't really experienced life in a way. And they're very skewed one way politically, right? So they're going to make sure they stack your daily newscast with stories that they want you to see, not necessarily the stories and the truth that's happening. So it goes down to a local level. And of course, she worked for a major network, a large national network. And if we said the three letters on here, you would definitely know what we're talking about. So it goes down, Melissa, to the local level as well. They're controlling exactly what they want you to think.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. We are facing something that we've never seen in decades of American history. If we don't speak up now, we're not going to have the freedom to communicate. And my mother, she was just taken off Facebook. We're seeing this shadow banning. We're seeing this shutdown like never before. We need to use our voice to encourage others to speak up while we still can.
Absolutely. And of course, we've seen quite a bit of people, on the corporate America side, Mike Lindell being one of them. Right. And of course, the gentleman that owns the Goya beans, they had a little spike in sales if they tried to boycott him. So we're seeing it across America, corporate America, the mass media really trying to shut people down. Now, the theme here is Uncancel America. What's one of the biggest things you're looking to take away from CPAC 2021, and maybe some of the speakers you're looking forward to seeing as well?
Well, definitely I could speak to that. So some of the speakers I'm excited about are seeing Governor Kristi Noem, Ben Carson, also Ron DeSantis. So grateful for the way he's allowed our country, the state of Florida, to remain open during this time. What I want to take away from this convention is finding out what the direction for the conservative movement can be. We have 2 years to essentially figure out how can we get back to the freedoms that we are losing so quickly in our country today. I think part of that involves speaking up while we still can, using our ability to create bills. One of the bills here in Florida that might pass is the Stop Social Media Censorship Act, which will allow us to sue social media companies. That's sponsored by Representative Anthony Sabatini. And so if we can do that, if we can make it so that we can have free speech on the social media platforms, we can strive to...
Let me stop you right there. Let me ask you a quick question.
Yes.
What feedback do you get for being a young female conservative in our culture? I mean, I know we've spoken to a lot of people walking by, and it's tough to be, it's almost like this. It's tougher in 2021 to come out as a conservative than it was back in 20 years ago to come out as a gay male. I'm just saying, like, the pressure now is more, it's more impactful to come out and say, I'm a white conservative male in 2021. You better be prepared for such a huge backlash. So what's some of the kickback that you get from being a female conservative here in the state of Florida?
Right. So Thankfully, most of it took place back when I was on the college campus. Unfortunately, for my friends who are younger than me, who I want to be an example and an influencer to, they are still in that situation. I wouldn't say I've experienced it as much right now because I work for a Christian legal firm, by God's grace, but back for my friends still in college, I want to encourage them to connect with political clubs that are like-minded, where they could feel like they have that community. That community, staying for me personally involved in Bible study groups, was what got me through college. I would encourage them to reach out to that community and know that they're not alone.
Don't you think people with faith right now have so much calmness amongst the storm that we're going through in this country, not only post-election, but even going up to the election with all the stress and the turmoil and the fake news? It seems like if you're biblically grounded, you can weather this storm, because with God, you can get through anything.
For sure. I'm a born-again Christian. That is what I relied on to get me through harder times in college, and I could definitely encourage anybody else who's struggling with that same thing. That is what will be your anchor, which will get you through the storm, and I encourage you to look to that.
Well, let's talk about President Trump in the last 4 years of his accomplishments, and let us know where you're watching us from right now. Tag your hometown, tag a friend, share this broadcast, and let everybody know that Right Side Broadcasting Network is at CPAC 2021, and we will have full coverage not only of all the speakers inside, but of course as we get people that walking around, and even staying to the tradition of Right Side Broadcasting, we even have a crowd cam that we can see everybody who's walking by. Dr. Cordy Williams is right over there. You can see him on the crowd cam, and so come on by if you're in the area and jump on the crowd cam, because we are known for showing the crowds. Okay, let's talk about the last 4 years of President Trump and what has been, in your opinion, some of the greatest accomplishments that this president was able to get accomplished.
Yes. President Trump is one of the most pro-life presidents we've ever had. He wanted law and order. He wanted to make sure we protected our southern borders. He made sure that we had great trade deals with other countries. Protecting us from China was one of his top priorities. I think the way he espoused conservative principles was something I wasn't quite expecting, but as his presidency went on, he started to embrace more things like the traditional family, and I think that he was a figurehead that espoused those things and helped our country kind of reorient ourselves around those goals, and I think we need to get back to that even if he's not our president for these next 4 years.
It's interesting because when he first put his name in the hat and he came down that escalator, he wasn't my first choice for the president, to be honest with you. I was a Texas guy. I was Ted Cruz for a while until that didn't work out. And then I realized that Donald Trump was the greatest pro-life president in American history. He was the most pro-America president.
Also instituted conservative justices on the Supreme Court.
He did exactly. And it was funny. He had promises made, promises kept. And that was one of the things that he did. The border wall. Big concern, of course, if you live in the southwest region of the United States. I live in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California. The border wall is very important to those people.
Right, definitely. I know that you have popular news sources, you have people like the lead in The Mandalorian who said things like, we are comparing the Holocaust to the southern border, and that wasn't even the southern border, that was the Palestinian West Bank. And recently Gina Carano was fired from that Mandalorian show, and he wasn't. The double standards we have in our country are insane, and the border wall, it's a mess.
We could do a 5-hour show just on the hypocrisy of the media and the left, and maybe that's something that we'll do another day. I also think, when you ask people about the greatest accomplishments for the President Trump, it's like putting America first, and we've seen this slogan. I remember the first time I saw "Make America Great Again." I didn't really know what he meant by that, but now I do, because we're starting to see all the corruption and all the backdoor deals that China was involved with, the Biden. You get all this stuff that's factually true. It's just interesting. So he was able to put America first when it comes to the trade deals, and being energy independent. For the first time in U.S. history, we were actually exporting energy rather than taking it from the Middle East. So for me, my biggest takeaways is putting America first.
I couldn't agree with that more. I believe that when we put our country first and we make sure that we're taking care of our own citizens, that empowers us best to be an example to the rest of the world, and even gives us the resources to help others. If we can't help our country, then we're not going to be putting our best foot forward.
Yeah. If you're just now joining us, we are live here in Orlando, Florida at CPAC 2021. Now, this is my first time at a CPAC. So I'm just taking it all in, as you can get a shot of the crowd cam just above me. A lot of people walking by. Of course, we've got all the pretty much major networks that are here for the most part, which is nice to see. But it really does give you a snapshot of the impact that the conservative movement has here in this country and how much it is needed right now amongst the storm that we're in. So please tag yourself, share this broadcast, let us know what you want to see from us as well, and we'll have all the speakers. Now, obviously, Donald Trump was a late add to the speaker, and of course, he took precedence over everything else that was being viewed, you know, as far as speaker-wise. But that's great. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Yes, I'm so excited to see former President Trump.
I say that I misspeak all the time with that. I still call him President Trump.
I think one of the things people are most excited about is to see whether he will announce his re-election campaign in 2024. That will make a huge impact on where we're going as the conservative party, as the Republican Party. People are all wondering. I think people are all wanting to stay tuned for that.
Could you imagine if he just hints for a second that he is going to even think about running in 2024. This place, which I've been told, we're going to have an estimate of about 3,500 people in attendance. So it's a pretty good crowd, but obviously this is a huge venue. They had to scale it down because of safety precautions. But this place will probably light up NASA in space with the enthusiasm if he even hints around at a presidency run in 2024. That
is so true. I know just recently Dan Bongino was talking about what it will look like if CPAC announces that Trump is running for president again. He thinks that definitely Trump will. We'll see. I think we're going to have to stay tuned to find out, but I think this whole place will be electrifying, and all of the major left-leaning news outlets are going to have to cover it because they're still so addicted to President Trump.
They are so addicted to that man. Before we finish up, social media handles for you, Melissa, that people can stay in touch with what you're doing?
Conservative Shout Out. I have a YouTube channel as well as an Instagram. Please follow me there. I'm trying to get the message out. All the stories I wanted to tell in college, that's where I'm putting my stories.
There you go. And of course, we rely on donations by you, the viewers, so please go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate, rsbnetwork.com/donate. You know, it takes a lot to get us around the country. I'll be in Texas after this. Liz is going to California to cover some things. So if you could please help us out, whatever amount is good for you, whatever you're comfortable with, rsbnetwork.com/donate. And then we have, I know you have a Mypillow, and if you don't, I'm going to put one on your bed, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, well, our partner Mike Lindell is a great guy. He is a patriot. Who knows? Maybe we'll see him here at CPAC. So you can go to his website at mypillow.com, and you can click away. We've got a great video to check out. I'll send it back to the studio, mypillow.com.
Hello, Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of Mypillow, and I've got some great news for you. Today, you can save up to 66% off all my products, from my Mypillows to my Giza Dream Sheets, my towels, my Roll and Go travel pillows, my mattress topper. I have over 100 products that you're going to save up to 66% using the promo code RSBN, Right Side Broadcast Network. RSBN, use that promo code at mypillow.com or call 800-836-7566. That's 800-836-7566. Remember to use the code RSBN, and here's the great news. Half the money is going to support Right Side Broadcast Network, one of the best networks I've ever seen. Thank you.
No internet. And we're back. We are back again here in Orlando, Florida at the CPAC conference. Just heard a great interview you all did from Brian Glenn, and just on the topic of cancel culture and how it has affected many of us. I was just chatting with a fellow attendee and just reminiscing to the time back in 2017 when I ended up losing my contract because of my conservative beliefs, and just how it affected me, but still on the positive end, because of course I could not imagine today where I would have been. But of course, I mean, now we're seeing it even more so in the entertainment industry, celebrities left and right coming out and expressing their conservative views and being canceled, for example. You know, and it's kind of sad to see the things that have taken place with the change in this culture. But of course, you have to continue fighting, and that's exactly what I did by my voice, by speaking out against what was done. And of course, they don't want you to speak out. They are continuing trying to shut us down and stop us from expressing our views and exercising our freedom, which is by part given to us by God. And it's just right now, I mean, Adrienne, have you ever experienced anything like that? I mean, it's crazy to think about, but
Right, absolutely. I've had a multitude of experiences of just liberal bias and horrible experiences and treatment based solely on my political ideologies, and at times based on my Christian identity. I'm a student at The Ohio State University, and I study political science and Spanish, and it's unbelievable some of the ideologies and notions that are being taught in the classroom that have no place being taught in the classroom. I remember one time I had just a normal Spanish class, a literature course, and I don't know why, but my professor brought up abortion, and she said specifically, men aren't affected by abortion, and I thought that was just the most ludicrous and heinous thing to say, and she said it as a statement of fact. I don't know why we're talking about it in the first place, but leftist ideologies and leftist ideas are continually being taught in the classroom where they have no place at all. Conservative ideas are constantly shut down. I'm also a part of a student government at my university, and we're taught all these different ideas. We're lectured on our white privilege. We have to recognize our white privilege, and if we don't, then we're just being shielded by our privilege. So it's a load of craziness, but this is what college campuses look like all across the country, and it's a shame. And you know, so many students, they want to know what to do about it, and sometimes I don't know, sometimes I'm confused, and I'm so glad that I can be a part of a network that allows me to use my voice to stand for conservative values and to give a larger voice to politicians and people that are fighting for people just like us. And I could go on and on about all these experiences of just being mistreated for my political ideologies and or being called a racist or a bigot or sexist, but it's okay. We can't let that stuff stop us, or else we won't get anywhere with our movement. We won't be able to affect the change that we need to make. We have to be stronger than the left. We can't cry about everything, but it's important to notice the mistreatment and to rise above, for sure.
Exactly. And to add to that, like, I've had the privilege of being homeschooled, so you know, I haven't experienced. I was just again talking to the attendee, and she was telling me about how in second grade, you know, back when Obama was running, how in the cafeteria, she said that her teacher ended up starting some sort of chant with the rest of the students saying, "We're voting for Obama, we're voting for Obama," and how that left an impression on her and kind of put her in a shell to where she could not, you know, express that she was not in agreement with that, because of basically this mob of one-sidedness was adamant about voicing their opinion, and then made it almost impossible for someone like her, conservative, to voice their side, you know? So I mean, I personally, of course, not being in school, you know, seeing how it is today, and I know it's hard, especially, again, we're cancel culture. I mean, the left, they are biased, they are not wanting to, you know, be fair in this game, and that's not what they're about anyways, because, you know, they're fixated on their agenda, which is, again, I say mission, kill, steal, destroy, and they're not true American patriots, and it's not going to work out for them, you know. In the end, it's not going to work out with them, and of course, it's important for us to push conservative values. It's important for us to push back God, bring back God into this country, and that's where we have to start, and it really starts with us personally. I believe I'm all faith-based, and I believe that if your heart is not right, of course, I mean, that starts with the people. If your heart is not right, then things are not going to, you know, work out accordingly, because of course there is a structure according to the Bible and according to what was left for us, the basic instructions before leaving Earth on how to live. And people, like in the church, talking about modern day churches now, they want to kind of isolate the topic of politics, because it might be something too touchy that, you know, maybe they might lose members or lose money. And it's now we're experiencing firsthand what it's like to not be in a culture that is surrounded around God and biblical values. And of course, it's just, I don't know, it's, again, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And now the left is all about shut down, fear, shut you up, enslavement, basically. Right. And I mean, it's not going to last. It's not going to last, but that's why we have to continue to fight. We have to go back to the basics of what makes us great in this country. And again, our 45th president, Donald Trump, they were not expecting that at all. He came in and changed the game, brought back what it was to be a true American, brought back God, speaking about God, prayer, and it should be an example for us to continue the fight. And of course, as we're seeing, we're here at the CPAC conference. We're hearing from a lot of speakers who are strong in their values and a conservative message. And I think we can prosper in this fight. I really do. So I'm appreciative, of course, of being here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, where you all can see full on what is behind the scene and what is going on in this conservative movement. Even if you all are not able to come out yourselves and attend, going to be talking to a few of the speakers about how you can get involved at a community level, in this movement, and how you can make a difference and how you can make a change. It's so many people here who have already started doing as much as they can, and again, it's just getting the word out there. There's some things that I didn't even know personally that there's a volunteer position that you can sign up for as far as like in your county, your district, for collecting voters and determining which candidate will be like on the ballot and such. I didn't know that. So yeah, exactly. I didn't know that. So so back at home, I'm involved in some ways, and I'm wanting to work more in depth in the political arena. So we'll see how that works out. Again, I have some other family members who are involved as well. My brother, he does some work. He was working in Georgia as well. I think you were doing the same thing too, doing the door to door. And even like people say, oh, well, I'm so young, I'm too young. Like, I don't know what, like, you're never too young to get involved. Even if you don't understand much, there is a lot on the internet that you can pick up just as long as you do your research and you're linked in with the right people. So Adrienne, how did you get involved as far as going door to door, knocking and collecting those votes in Georgia?
Right. Well, it all started a couple of years ago. Surprisingly, 2 years ago, I went to my very first conservative conference. I was always raised with conservative ideals in the household. My mom, being an immigrant from Guatemala, one thing you should know is Hispanics are naturally conservative. We're pro-life, we're pro First and Second Amendment. We are extremely patriotic. So I wanted to get involved in the movements that were supporting these ideals and these values. And I guess I was just on social media and I saw this Turning Point app for a conservative conference for women, and I was just inclined to apply. And ever since then, I heard two speakers I will never forget. I heard Candace Owens and Judge Jeanine Pirro, and these women just blew my mind. They inspired me like no other. They inspired me to change my career path. And since then, I've tried to get involved in any opportunity to make a difference in the conservative movement. And that's when I started going to more Turning Point events, and that's where I met Liz. And that's how we started our friendship. And I got introduced to what she's been doing here with RSBN. And since then, I've just been taking any opportunity possible to make a difference in the conservative movement and for America. And so I think I also saw like another ad, just calling Republicans down to Georgia to help door knock and make a difference and, try to hold the line and all that. And I took that opportunity, and it was great. I loved seeing all the still hopeful Americans that are still holding those patriotic values, those core American values that have led to our prosperity and success. And really, I've been surprised. There's just been so many ads and opportunities for conservatives. So it's scary, it's daunting. You will get hate every now and then, but it's worth it. There's so many opportunities. You just need to start looking because they're everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, everywhere. So I am in agreement with what you said. And I mean, again, it's really important for us to get involved.
Absolutely.
Make it happen, even though you might be a little confused. There are some websites where you can find resources. I know Turning Point actually has cpusa.com. They have some resources as far as how you can get involved in the movement as well. There are some other, again, if you just look up your local Republican committee, they will have some links as far as where you can get involved. And then, of course, just like at the college campuses, I know Charlie Kirk has had his cancel culture tour, but at the local college campuses, there are plenty of resources as far as getting involved with your local Republican chapter. So I think that it's important, like I said. And from here on out, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with all this? I mean,
right, so
it's going to be very different.
Right,
for sure. It's going to be very different.
Entirely different trajectory with how things have turned out. But prior to starting college, I was entirely set on going to law school and doing that my entire life. And once I started going to these conferences, I realized that I can have a bigger impact through politics. And so I'm still interested in obtaining, a law degree and just being as most informed as I can possibly be about the law. And I'm going to obtain that and somehow make a switch into politics. Maybe stick with media, maybe run for something, I'm not sure, but definitely get that legal knowledge, that legal background, and then enter politics. I really like media, the intersection between media and giving people a voice and just talking about politics too. So I see myself sticking around in that arena. But how about you? What are your plans?
Well, my plans are, of course, as long as I can, I will stay right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. And of course, I am a mother, so I would like to eventually start homeschooling my daughter and whatever other children might come. But so homeschooling my daughter and just really preparing her for the future. Again, this nation is changing rapidly, and it's going to look very different in the next 5 years, 10 years from now. And of course, I think right now it's really important for us. That's what I keep saying. Get involved as much as you can. Start running for office if you have the credentials and if you're ready and prepared to do so. Start running for office. But again, I am, whatever God may have planned for me, I am open to that. And I think for right now, my calling would be staying right here in this field and just letting my voice be heard and focusing on, again, faith and all the things that makes us Americans and free. So again, I'm really appreciative of the opportunity, and I'm excited to see what the next couple of years will be like for us.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so it looks like here in a little bit we will be switching off to Liz Willis, and she will. I think she has a couple of announcements to make. So we appreciate you guys again sitting down with us here in Orlando, Florida, at the CPAC conference, and for the next couple of days, we hope that you guys stick with us.
So you're going to stay there with Mike.
Hello, Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of Mypillow, and I've got some great news for you. Today, you can save up to 66% off all my products, from my Mypillows to my Giza Dream Sheets, my towels, my Roll and Go travel pillows, my mattress topper. I have over 100 products that you're going to save up to 66% using the promo code RSBN, Right Side Broadcast Network. RSBN, use that promo code at mypillow.com or call 800-836-7566. That's 800-836-7566. Remember to use the code RSBN, and here's the great news. Half the money is going to support Right Side Broadcast Network, one of the best networks I've ever seen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you for joining us today on Right Side Broadcasting. I'm here with Zoe. This is our first time working together in what feels like a long time, right?
Long time.
Yeah. What's going on with you? What's the latest?
Well, the latest is, well, I'm back here, first of all, but I just, since our first trip, we had that tour, right up until the election. I had some time to take a break at home, spend time with family, get myself together, and kind of processing where we are now with everything that took place with the election, and right back at it, you know, still in the fight. So I'm excited to be back as ever. And I think our first time together was on the boat tour. And where were we? I think in Virginia, was it?
Yeah, we were on
Virginia,
the I forgot what the river was in D.C.
Yeah, it was a river.
Goodness.
It was a bit challenging because of the wind and everything. Oh, yes.
The Potomac.
That's right. That's
yes.
right. But a bit challenging because of the wind and all the extra gust that day. But it was really different experience. But I had a lot of fun with it. So yeah.
Yes.
What about you? I know you have some new exciting news.
Yeah, I mean, definitely got some exciting news, and you know, so much has changed. I feel like obviously a lot has changed, but you know, since Biden has taken the Oval Office, unfortunately, there's been a lot of things that he promised and said he would do that has not come to fruition. For example, you know, working with Black Lives Matter, that was a big thing.
Oh, they disappeared.
That we were going to get a seat at the table, I thought, under this administration, and obviously that hasn't happened. In fact, quite the opposite. He's done a lot of things to insult the black community, like most recently saying that we're not smart enough to get online. And I just wanted to get your take on some of the things that Biden has done, some of the things that have happened during Black History Month.
Right, you know, not too long ago, he said that, of course, you ain't black unless you, vote for him, basically. But, I don't know what else the community needs from the left to know that these people are just fronts and they're not really for the community, and they continuously insult our intelligence. And by him stating that we don't have the, resources we need or understand how to get on the internet to find our local voting, whatever. Are you kidding? We're human, and just like anybody else, and it's kind of sad, you know. They undermine us just like they are so fixated on our skin color. Like, you have to vote this way unless, you have to vote this way because of your skin color. Says who? We're American citizens. We have our own views. We're independent. We don't think like a hive, you know. We're not hive mind with other people, but it's important for us, like, in our community to just be more informed. I know a lot of people, some of my friends, they have voted Democrat for years just because their family members have always voted that way, and not because they have educated themselves on policy and the reason why it's beneficial to them to vote that way. They just did it because, of course, that's something that they were used to. So the left is taking advantage of that. Of course, the Bible talks about my people perish because of a lack of knowledge, and they prey upon the poor, the people who are not saying like the community support, but they prey upon these people who may not be as educated or take out the time to educate themselves, and it's sad, you know?
Yeah, it's sad, but you know, they're telling us what they think. Biden thinks we don't have the intellectual bandwidth to use the internet, and he says it on TV, and I think it wakes a lot of people up, because they're like, wait a minute, is Anderson Cooper going to push back on that? Of course he didn't, and the media didn't cover it. But we all know any Republican you can name, if they said anything like that, it would be wall-to-wall news coverage all day long. It highlights the hypocrisy. It shows his bigotry. It's very bigoted. They don't really expect much from us, and it's very sad, but it also wakes people up. It shows people
after the fact now.
After the fact.
Funny to me, you know, how they've spent their Trump's our president, 45th president's entire term saying that he's a racist. He's a racist. He's a racist. But when you go to ask the question, what exactly did he say that was racist? How is he a racist? They're never able to give any specific coherent explanation as to why he is. But when you hear Biden say something like that, something that is obviously sharing that he thinks that we're of a lower caliber, we're not intelligent people, to them, like, it doesn't click with them. So I just don't understand that. And I hope that now, of course, all we can do is sit back and watch, continue in the fight, exposing them, and of course they are trying to silence us, but all we can do is just sit back and watch and see them basically destroy themselves. So there's not, honestly, that's what we can do now, and then the next time what we know can take action from that.
Yeah, and in the final few minutes that we have in this segment, I just want to talk a little bit. I got a list here of just some of the things that we have seen happen, because you know the left is very big on Black History Month. They love to use 28 days out of the year to exploit Black pain and suffering and bring up the past and really keep us entrapped in the past. But they also act like they're solution oriented. So just this month alone, they've given us an Apple Watch. I don't know if you knew about the Apple Watch. It's black, red, and green. It's a Black Unity watch. They've given us that. That's the way to end racism for sure, by segregating that. Also, Netflix as well as Amazon Prime have had like segregated show titles, movie titles. Like, click here for all the Black shows. It's like, what decade are we living in? They're dialing back the clock, right? It seems like the more that they try to help, the more that they hurt. Exactly. That's not just it, though. As we know, they canceled Aunt Jemima from the Pancake Box. That was tragedy.
We couldn't get a platform, or we couldn't get the recognition that we wanted before. So now we're okay with this.
Yeah, unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up. It's hard to believe that this is where we are in the year 2021, but this is where we are. What else did they give us? Oh, they gave us I can't really say it, but it was a cartoon on Twitter. I don't know if you heard about it. It was pretty cringe. And then also the Coca-Cola stuff. It seems like we're focused a lot on like white supremacy and things like that. And it's getting to a point now where it's going to eventually bring people together, because they're seeing like, you guys are really active trying to drive us apart. It's going to bring us together, I think, because people from both sides are actually looking at it and they're just fed up with it. Exactly. But we want to take this time to tell you about our partner, Mypillow. Mike Lindell has been fighting for this country for a long time, and he's got this great website. Go to mypillow.com, where you will get up to 66% off of your entire order. It is an American-made product. All of his products are American-made. He is a patriot. He's been fighting for this country, and he supports Right Side Broadcasting. So if you go to his website, mypillow.com, use the promo code RSBN at checkout, you can save up to 66% off of your order. It's Giza Dream Sheets, it's dog beds, it's memory foam mattress toppers, pillowcases. You can also get the original Mypillow. I think it's a queen size pillow, which is originally priced at $69.98. With the promo code RSBN, you'll get it for $29.98. That is a tremendous discount. I've got one at home. It's a great. I mean, we need to get sleep. It's important. Trying to save this republic requires rest. You have to get your rest. Please go to mypillow.com, use RSBN at checkout for up to 66% off of your entire order. Support an American-made product from an American-made company and a patriot who loves this country during a time when they're trying to cancel not just him, but anyone on the right side of the political spectrum. They don't want it. They're trying to cancel. They're putting pressure on retailers. One way that you can help support Mike Lindell and Mypillow, as well as Right Side Broadcasting, is going to mypillow.com.
Good job, guys. It's perfect. All right. Hey everybody, thank you so much. Of course, you just saw our great partner Mike Lindell, who has been helping us continue to stay on the road through patriots like you who support his company. So again, hats off to Mike. Thank you so much. Liz and I are here in CPAC in Orlando, Florida. If you're just joining us, we're having a great time here. We've been bringing you coverage since about, 5 o'clock today, Liz?
It feels like the past 24 hours, but in retrospect, we've just been getting ready for this entire week, setting up this booth. If you are watching and you're going to be coming to CPAC, make sure you stop by. We do have these awesome red solo cups, and they're not just like the throwaway ones. These are reusable, and they are made by Ace Specialties, so they are the official product of Trump's campaign gear. They are nice and thick, perfect cups with the official Make America Great Again logo and RSBN's logo on the back. So come by and get one. We want to make sure you guys have some cool RSBN swag to take home and remember this exciting week here in Orlando, Florida.
Yes, absolutely right. Yes, so stop by, go ahead, grab yourself a cup. But while you're here, be sure to say hello to us. We want to say hello to you if you're going to be here at CPAC. And for those of you who cannot be at CPAC, that is why we are here today, to make sure that we can bring you live coverage of this event. Something Right Side Broadcasting Network has always been dedicated to is showing the crowds. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but this entire broadcast, we've had a camera set up behind me over here over my right shoulder that's been showing the crowds as people walk by. So not only at Trump rallies are we showing the crowds, but at CPAC we're showing the crowds, and we're also bringing you the speakers and the entire event coverage, as we are official broadcast partners with the American Conservative Union, who's hosting CPAC.
Absolutely, and every time I hear official broadcast sponsor, I think, you know, this is so cool because President Trump is finally speaking again. I mean, I heard you interviewing with Mike, and you're like, well, who are you most excited about? And I know it's cliche, we've heard it before, but I am so excited. And I think a lot of our viewers resonate with this, to see President Trump again speaking in front of a live, large audience. And we want to know what is the future looking like for conservatives. So I'm very excited and interested to see what he has to say. We are going to be completely live with that. We have multiple cameras, so we're going to have multiple angles. We're going to be able to give you the full production of President Trump's speech. That is going to be on Sunday at 3:40. So if you don't take away anything from this CPAC weekend and you want, well, one person to watch, I highly recommend you tune in Sunday. I think there will be some pretty big things happening.
Of course, I was telling Mike earlier that Sunday is really going to be a historic day, in the sense that this will be the first time that the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is going to be making a public appearance and giving a speech. Now, of course, Right Side Broadcasting Network covered the President's Day event down in West Palm Beach. Mike, myself, and Brian Glenn were down there, and you saw President Trump drive by in the motorcade as he was leaving golf, seeing all those nice, beautiful flags waving that said Trump and the American flag. But this will be the first time since leaving office that he's going to be making public remarks in front of an audience. And I kind of wondered to myself, what is he gonna say? But more importantly, what song is he gonna walk off to? Like, you know, is he gonna go like old school campaign, like We're Not Gonna Take It? Who knows? Like, I can't really say, but that is something I'm certainly looking forward to. You know, add a little fun to the, you know, to the entire event. Actually, let's make this fun. Go ahead and drop in the comments what you think President Trump's going to walk off to. I mean, could it be YMCA? Who knows what it's going to be? But that's something I'm certainly excited about. And, of course, I want to hear what he has to say. I think I have an idea, but we can never be too sure with President Trump.
Now you have me thinking. I know I need to be in, like, interview mode and, like, host mode, but in my brain I'm like, well, what song is it going to be? We know if it's YMCA, you'll be dancing. Yep. But we also want to say thank you to Mypillow. Mypillow has been an incredible partner here with Right Side Broadcasting Network, and Mike Lindell and Mypillow have teamed up to give us one of the biggest discount codes up to date. This is huge, and it has been so successful. I'm going to touch that in just a second to tell how you guys have helped out Mypillow and how that business has been booming despite cancel culture. But if you use code RSBN, 4 letters, RSBN, at mypillow.com, you can get up to 66% off your entire order. Now, they have way more than just the standard pillows that you think of. They have throws, duvet coverters, duvet inserts, towels. I have all of these items. If you've seen a photo of my room, I've tweeted one out before, you know, it's literally a MyPillow advertisement, but I love it. I sleep like a baby. I highly recommend taking care of your sleep, getting 8 hours a night. MyPillow.com, use code RSBN so they know Liz and RSBN sent you. And okay, so we got to do a little tour of their factory. In fact, we had another news network come up to us, and they're like, you guys are genius for doing that. That was so cool. We loved watching it. Well, the coolest thing about the MyPillow factory tour that we did was realizing just how successful they've been despite the backlash, as if you want to call it, from the cancel culture. 18 stores and counting have tried to cancel MyPillow because of what their CEO, Mike Lindell, has done for President Trump, because of his conservative values and how he has stood up to them. But despite their attempt at doing that, their business is bigger, stronger, and better than ever before. So it's really neat to see, and we want to bring that same energy going all through 2021 for them. So make sure to go and shop some of his products.
Yes, of course. We cannot say it enough. How much your support of Mike means to us and how much it means to Mike. Mike Lindell certainly appreciates your support in these trying times. Well, I think for now, that is all from the team here in Orlando, Florida at CPAC. Be sure to tune in to Right Side Broadcasting Network tomorrow morning as this really kicks off. CPAC kicks off.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to make sure everyone knows we're going to start being live tomorrow at 8 a.m. So we'll be live at 8 a.m. General session. The welcome is going to be at 8:30 a.m. If you have any questions, make sure to message us on our Twitter at RSB Network, on our Instagram at RSB Network, whatever it may be. We want to answer these questions and make it as if you guys are actually here. Crowd is smaller this year, but we are online. We're broadcasting it so we can reach millions. Help us do that. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. Anything else, Philip?
I think you pretty much covered all the bases.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning from Orlando, Florida, Right Side Broadcasting Network. God bless and good night.
We're not just any news network. We show the crowd. We show the energy. We show the enthusiasm. We interview people. We show the smiles on everyone's faces as they fill into one of these venues to support their president, to support their values, their beliefs, their flag, their country. We show all of that to you. We bring it right up to you and make it personal, as if you're with us here experiencing it for yourself. This is one of the things that we pride ourselves in doing, is showing you on the ground experience of how people are seeing it and experiencing it for themselves. Just the energy is so electric and exciting. People recognize us everywhere we go. We have to stop and take photos. There are thousands of people that come up to us after each event and ask us to keep fighting for them, keep showing the truth. They thank us. They thank us for giving them a voice, because nobody else will give them a voice. Instead, they take who they really are and turn them into something that they're not. They try to say that these are white supremacist gatherings and they're neo-Nazis. They spin all these false narratives, but in reality, there are Filipinos, there are Thai people, they're Chinese, they're Brazilian, they're Cubans, they're Africans, they're Jamaicans, they're Americans. There are people from all over the world, to be honest with you. Everybody supports this president. Everybody supports American ideals of liberty, truth, freedom. We can't thank you enough for supporting us at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are almost entirely viewer supported. This isn't just our network, it's your network. This is a network for the people. This is a network that's about truth, delivering the truth, showing what's actually happening in the world from the perspective of the average person. We don't take money from big corporations. We don't take money from billionaires and big donors. We are all about the people. We're an independent media corporation. Your donations keep us, to support Right Side Broadcasting. Go to our website, go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. Send your checks to our physical address or donate via Super Chat during our live streams. God bless you, and thank you for supporting Right Side Broadcasting Network.